Welcome. My name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and you can find more information about the projects that I create on my blog at stampingwithhart.blogspot.com. We have a specialty box this month, which is so cute. My box kind of got bumped up. Usually they're in pretty good shape when I get them. This one got a little bit bruised up, but that's okay. So really, really adorable printed box here. This is the September paper pumpkin kit. It is called Spooky Treats. All right, so this was the September box. And before I start diving into the September box and the alternates, let me go over what's coming up next month. So next month, this is the kit. It's the Ho 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 kit. It's the October kit. And if you would like to sign up for this, this is going to be a card kit. And in November, there is going to be a coordinating tag kit. So this is a great time to get started with Paper Pumpkin. If you're interested, you can let me know. Direct message me. I can send you a link. I'll drop a link in the comments of this live after the video. But just by looking at the box, it looks super, super cute. So I'm excited about that. And then on the other side, this is a past kit. And what they're doing is they're talking about some of the perks of Paper Pumpkin. So I just wanted to read through these really quickly. For anybody who isn't familiar with Paper Pumpkin or who's been thinking about it, maybe this is something that can help. So there's so much to love about the monthly subscription kits, and they're talking about the fact that they're all inclusive, which means everything that you need to craft is right inside the box. There are seasonal designs, fresh ideas to make your project stand out. You get exclusive stamp sets every month, just like this one for this month's kit. It says perfect catalog product coordination. That is so true. Exclusive access to refills, past kits, sales, and more, which is also really true. So for anybody who maybe has never tried Paper Pumpkin, you can actually purchase refills. They become available at a certain date after the original kit ships. So, if there's not going to be a refill for some reason, they'll usually let us know. So you can actually purchase refills, which are all of the consumable items, and just not the stamp set and the ink pad. Okay, so just wanted to mention that. They have a satisfaction guarantee policy and subscription plans that work for you, which means there are options with the subscription plan. So if you have any questions, you can go to paperpumpkin.com to learn more, or you can message me or email me, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it. Okay, so you guys know that I love Paper Pumpkin. This is what the October kit looks like. I mean, October, listen to me, my brain. This is what the September kit looks like. These are the Paper Pumpkin design treat boxes, and I think they're perfect. I think that they are so adorable. I love them. I usually don't go through the original Paper Pumpkin, but I am going to put a box together with you because we should. Just in case. And if you guys have seen Paper Pumpkin, if you've seen people putting this together, that's great. But I am going to put one together. So here you can see what their designs look like. Honestly, this really doesn't need any sprucing up or changing, but I am going to give you some alternate ideas if you would like them. So inside your flyer is where the directions are, okay? And they do different directions for each box, visual directions. And then on the back, this is the part that I always like to point out when you're talking about alternates, just to make sure that you have all of your elements in the kit. And then, of course, we have our coordinating Stampin' Up! Colors, which in this month's kit, it's Basic Black, Crushed Curry, Fresh Freesia, Gray Granite, Orchid Oasis, and Pumpkin Pie. And the ink spot for this month is Orchid Oasis. That's the color that is the star of the show. We also get Terran tape in this month's kit, which I am so thrilled about. And we get the mini dimensionals, which I also love. So here is the little ink spot here for the kit. I could go through this whole entire kit because I just love it so much. Save your tissue paper. It's black this month, and you can certainly use that in different projects. Okay, and so let's go ahead and go through what the originals are, what the alternates are. This was what they did with their alternates, which I thought was so adorable. just the inside of the box here, and then they just did a little filler. And then we have like a small card, which this is really cute for class. If you have to do like class projects, or if your kids are having a party, or your grandkids or nieces or nephews. Okay. And then here's one of their cards. I thought that was so cool. All right. So, and then I'll show you mine. So let me go here. All right. So these were the ones that were original to Paper Pumpkin, but I'm going to give you guys some ideas for what you can put in these boxes. We'll go through the measurements and all of that lovely stuff. So I just wanted to show you how much you can fit into this. So this is a Paper Pumpkin designed box. This is not an alternate, but I just wanted to show you how cute and how many things you can fit in here. So isn't he fun? So this is a ring. Okay, so you could just do, if you can't do food, if you have somebody who's doing Halloween, but it can't be food items for school reasons or allergy reasons, these are those little sticky hands that you throw at the wall. And then here's like a little thing of witches, potions, slime, or whatever it is. Just all of these little, you know, trinkets and things. Okay, you can fit all of that inside one of these boxes. So it's a pretty good filler size here. And then I'm just gonna slide this back on. Okay, I'm just gonna tuck that in. And then this is another one. And let me show you what's in here. So in this one, we have a little mini notebook, and we have some fruit snacks. If you are allowed to do treats, you know, in the class, which I really, really, really hope we're allowed to do this year. I don't know. It's a new school, so I'll find out. All right, so that's another Paper Pumpkin version. And then this is my favorite of the Paper Pumpkin designed options. And if you like to do traditional candy that we get at the store for every Halloween, just wanted to show you guys that these two candies fit perfectly inside this box together. So really good size, like the snack size candies. You can fit multiples in there. I probably could have put a little notebook in there on top too. And that's also a Paper Pumpkin design. So here are some of the alternates. They're called Peekaboo treat bags. Okay, so for anybody who really likes to get into the treat bags or the treat boxes that are available in the annual catalog, you're really going to have a lot of fun with this kit if you need to extend the amount of treats that you're giving out this year. Okay, just depending on if it's for parties, favors, dinners, classes, whatever that might be. So the Peekaboo treat bags, there are 10 in here, and you get two colors. You get craft brown and you get white. Okay, so here we used, and let me get a piece of basic white so you guys can see this all right. Well, let me stick it here. You should be able to see that okay. This is the stamp set that came inside the Paper Pumpkin kit. And you can see we have all of the classics that we need to work with here. We have the spider, the web, we have a trio of bats, we have all of these little stars, and we have some really great classic sentiments along with our ghost. So here, the craft one, I did the spider webs and the spiders. And this is in the white heat emboss. This is in the black heat emboss. That comes in a set called the Basics in the annual catalog. And then you can open it from the top. And inside here, I have just a couple of the Halloween tattoos. And then also just a little notebook for the kids, right? Because my son is 6 going on 7. He'll be 7 in October. And, you know, just want to give them fun, cute little things in class, right? So that's really more where my brain is focused as I'm getting ready for this. I also use my Paper Pumpkin for trick-or-treaters. We get like 20 to 30 kids here. So this is from Paper Pumpkin. The Enjoy the Spooky Treats. All of the stamping is from Paper Pumpkin. This little circle piece is from the Paper Pumpkin kit. And I added the washi. So you can get this really cute set of 4 washi tape. And it goes perfectly right across. It's like, it almost looks seamless, doesn't it? It looks like it's part of the bag. And just put it right across the peekaboo section. So that's the craft version. Here is the white one. Now with the white one, I will, you know, full disclosure, with the heat tool that I was using, it kind of melted the inside a little bit. I was still able to get all my treats in there and everything, but I didn't love that I kind of melted the inside. So I would suggest just sliding a little piece of chipboard or something in there before you just do the top. But I did a ton of stamping on the front of this, so I kind of had my heat tool sitting out for a long time. So in this one, I did one piece of candy and then one little notebook. Okay, so you can decide what you would like to go in these. And then I did the orange washi, but the bats and the trick or treat, and this little trick or treat is also, I used the pumpkin pie ink, and then I used our clear heat embossing powder with the Versamark on that particular one. And then these little hexagons are from our Beautiful Shapes dies. But all of the stamps, again, are from the Paper Pumpkin kit. So these can create some really, really cute projects. Now, if you want to do alternates just with the kit, but you want to, you know, add a little something to it, here were 3 alternates that I came up with from the Paper Pumpkin kit. So the inside is still the same. The treats are, you know, still the same. But with this one, I actually added elements from the Scary Cute bundle. I actually did, this is called the Scary Silhouettes Dies. And you can see this little like framed in, well, I did it upside down. This little framed in tree picture almost. So that, it turns out, fits perfectly on the front of this. So I just cut that out twice. We're going to make this one together. And then I did the Happy Halloween from the kit. So it's still that plaid wrap. It's still the bottom. If you want to stamp inside, you could stamp inside your box and then just go ahead and slide that on. Okay, and that even looks cute. So if you're not going to have too much filler in there, but you want to have a background, you can do that also. Okay, so there's that one. Now this one adds a little bit of embossing. So I thought that this was super cute. And I also want to say, for those of you who maybe don't need 18 for Halloween, with the options that they gave us, you could turn the Fresh Freesia ones into something completely different sentiment, holiday, whatever you would want. But I love our charming landscapes embossing folders. And I used that one, the one with the town, okay, to emboss our little wrap. Okay, so just did a little bit of embossing and then I added some pieces to it. So this is a combination of the Paper Pumpkin kit and the Scary Cute bundle. And then here is the other version with the same embossing folder. So for those of you who maybe don't love the plaid, I love the plaid. But if, just in case you don't, or you want to be able to use it for something else, just flip it. So you'll see here, the plaid is on the inside this time. And then I just used the back of it as the front. And I used the same embossing folder, a different ink, and it gave it a completely different look. So I thought that was really cute too. I already have my embossing folder out. I'm going to get some of the elements from the kit here. I'm not going to go through every single piece in the kit, but we are going to recreate the box. So maybe we can do the base piece first. How about that? So you get the base piece in, let me show you the different colors. Absolutely classic colors here. I love the Fresh Freesia. That kind of keeps sneaking into our kits, and I think it's like such a great holiday color. So we have the black base for the boxes. We have the white. And then we also have orange. For this one, I'll do white. We'll just keep it simple. I've been doing all of the different versions. Now, this piece might seem a little bit intimidating. Okay, so this has nothing to do with the alternate element. This is just the box, the base of the box that we're going to put together here. So I'm just going to kind of fold through the steps. So I always recommend just kind of warming up the score lines first. These outer pieces are going to come inward and go flat to the box. So we're going to just do that. And Connor and Nana are hanging out in the other room, so you guys might hear them. All right, so as you can see, as I'm putting this in, you can kind of just pinch these down where we have these little side grooves here. We're going to keep our tabs in, and then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to fold it over, and then this inner flap is going to come out. So I'm going to press that down. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. All right, so that's half of our box. And then we're going to take this half, which has this overall flap, is going to become the bottom of the box. And we're going to just fold right over those other tabs. We're going to press this piece in. I'm going to warm up that score line. And then it's going to lock into place down here. Okay, so that's our base. If you would want to do any stamping, let me just show you. If you want to do any stamping, this is the piece that is going to become the bottom of your box, this longest flap outward. So that's the one that you would stamp if you need to, okay? So that's the bottom of the box. And now let me go ahead and get the wrap for you guys. Let's see. I have everything sitting on top of everything here. Oh, and I have to tell you about what happened to my stars today too. So these are our wraps. These are our options for the wraps. They are so cute. Okay, you could use either side, right, if you want to. But I'm going to focus on using this one. We're going to use our fresh freesia. We're going to use the fresh freesia side. I'm going to get a little bit of, I didn't want to do black. I thought it would look a little bit harsh. I mean, it's a classic Halloween color. So if you want to do that to ink up your folder, you certainly could. I just went a little bit softer with smoky slate, and I think it's still in the family, and I think it still coordinates really well because we have our pops of black here with our little haunted house and things, right? So I am going to add in that color, but of course you could also use Orchid Oasis or whichever color that you have. Just remember with the alternates, we're kind of adding in some other product. So here you can see before I ink this up, that this fits perfectly right inside these Charming Landscapes folders. The other one, which would also be really great because we have this star theme going on with our embellishments in the kit. These are the stars. Stampin' Up! Really seems to love stars at Halloween time. So we actually get 2 sheets of them. We get a full sheet of the small, a full sheet of the large, which I absolutely love. And then here, if you do decide you want to use this background, there are actually, it looks like little snowflakes, but they could also easily be considered stars. And this would be like the mountain scene. So I think either of these folders would work, but, and don't let me forget to do this. So I'll go through measurements on this in just a minute, but let's do this part first because this is the fun part. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ink up our folder. I was just trying to make sure I had my machine close by. Okay. All right. So whenever I like to ink up my embossing folder, if I'm going to sort of be adding to a scene, I'm not concerned about the ink being perfect. But what I want to do is I want to ink up the side that has the Stampin' Up! Logo on it. So I want to ink up the front part of the folder. But the concept here is to just ink the whole folder. Now there are certainly cleaner ways that you can do this than just putting the ink pad down to it. You could use a brayer, you could use sponge daubers, whatever you think. But you can see the ink starting to get onto the folder here. So I'm going to focus really more towards the top because that's where our image is. But if you get ink anywhere else, don't be too concerned about it. Remember, I mean, this is for Halloween, it's for fun, it's for kids, and you're going to be decorating it with embellishments. So I wouldn't worry too much about mistakes. But if you like to do this very cleanly, then go ahead and do this process, you know, the best way that works for you. So I'm going to slide this in and I'm going to put it right to the edge of the folder. I'm going to close it. Okay, and then we're just going to hold this. We're just going to hold it tight until we run it through our machine. And then just in case you aren't familiar with the sandwich, for our regular embossing folders, you're going to use plates 1, 3, and 3, which means you don't need plate number 2. So we're going to remove plate number 2. We're going to use plates 1, 3, and 3. And we're just going to run this right through. These are so cute. I love this box. It's absolutely adorable. Okay, so I'm just going to set this down. And let's take a look. All right, and so this gives us our image, which is so adorable. And you can decide which part you want to use, but I'm going to fold this up so you can see the way that this kind of lays out. And don't forget to wash your folder when you're done, because that'll get messy in a whole other way. I'm going to hit this with my heat tool just to make sure that the ink is dry. And if you guys can tell that it's like raining crafts every time I touch something, something else falls, it's because my craft room is so out of control right now. So if I go to the back side, you can see what it looks like in the crisp white here too, which is really cool. But this makes it easy to see where our embossing is. And this is, you know, not embossing, I'm sorry, where the score lines are from the Paper Pumpkin team. So I'm just going to start to warm these up. And then you guys can kind of see the way that these hit on this wrap. Okay, so just depending on which part of your scene you want to see, you can position it either way. So if you look at these two alternates, I'm just going to make one of the two tonight, but it's actually the same thing. So this one was done in pumpkin pie, and I used this side, which is the flap. Technically, which they say is the bottom, could very easily be the top too, right? No problem. Or you can use this side, which is what I used for our ghost. Now, this is the one that I'm going to recreate tonight, but I just wanted you to know either one will work, okay? So there's that. And then what we're going to do, I have the bottom of my box somewhere. Here it is. All right, so the next pieces that we're going to need, we're going to be using our stars from the Paper Pumpkin. We're going to be using our ghost die cut from Paper Pumpkin, the haunted house, the moon, and this banner, along with the sentiment, are from Scary Cute. All right, so what I like to do is actually wrap this around the box. We're going to focus on that piece. So we can actually put our tear and tape right here on the tab. So this piece that tapers in is where typically you're going to put your adhesive. Wrap that. And for me, it just... this way you know it's not going to be too tight around the box. And we're just going to line up our edges there. Okay. And then once we have that piece, I'm going to get one of my ghosts from the kit. All of the ghosts, the minute I picked this thing up, they all fell out. And then we have that cute spider too. And then there are some sentiment pieces here for inside the kit, where I think we're going to use the Happy Halloween one. I can't remember. Yeah, we are going to use it for that one. Okay, so we're going to put this guy here. So any of these things that look particularly Christmas, like we have this tree, we have a snowflake, we have sort of this little candy cane here, we're going to kind of camouflage that a little bit. We're going to kind of cover it up. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment first. Now, the one thing that I wanted to say is if you want to stick with the sentiments that are in the Paper Pumpkin kit, this will fit. Enjoy the spooky treat. Okay, Trick or Treat is a little bit too big for this particular banner. I'm going to use Scary Cute, which I just got, and it is so adorable. Okay. All right, so that's this one here. And I wanted to do the one that said boo because of the because of our ghost. So it says say boo and scary on. So that's the one that we're going to use. And I might already have it on a block. Yes, I do. Okay. And we're going to use the gray again. We're going to use our smoky slate. You can use black, whatever you want. It's a little bit crooked, but salvageable. We can deal. All right. And then what I did was there's this little line right here before you see the fence, and I just glued it right to my banner. So I'm going to do that again. And it kind of just turns it into one piece, but you don't have to. This is optional. Okay. So I'm just going to glue that down. Halloween is my jam. I actually have a lot of stuff to make actually this year between the trick-or-treaters and Connor's class, but I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun. Okay, so I'm going to grab some of my own dimensionals, but you can use the mini dimensionals from the kit if you want. I'm going to use a couple of the full size. Remember, we're in alternate mode tonight. So I'm just going to get those 3. And we're just going to go right down here to this corner, and we're going to pop that on. Okay, and then we're going to put a couple more on our ghost. Okay, and then with the ghost, I'm going to put him kind of high in the corner and covering up that little Christmassy section right there. And I'm going to have a little bit of his like ghostly bottom there, right near the gate or the fence of our little haunted house. So this kind of leaves us that town, the trick-or-treating town is what that feels like to me. And then we're going to get a couple of our stars, and we're going to get our moon. Okay, I'm going to jump into voiceover mode now. What you were hearing was the actual audio from my live. So we're finishing up this treat box here. I'm going to add these stars on just about every single project that I can make. And for those of you who are still with me at the 27-minute mark, I really appreciate you being here and watching with me. So here's what we're going to do for this next section. These are the peekaboo treat bags that we are going to decorate with the stamp set. So if you are new here, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I am so grateful to have all of you here. But let me just explain a little bit of my thought process when it comes to creating alternate projects with our paper pumpkin kit. The paper pumpkin kit is absolutely fantastic as is. So please don't feel like you need to do alternates unless you want to expand and create additional projects. What I like to do in terms of giving ideas to all of you who have purchased Paper Pumpkin and who continue to subscribe, whether that's one kit or all kits like I get, it's always fun to have additional ideas. And if you do get additional product from our catalogs, such as the Peekaboo treat bags, these are ways that you can extend the products that you get in your Paper Pumpkin kit, like the stamp set and the ink spot. So for many, they start with the ink spots before investing in full-size ink pads. And then when you start investing in your full-size ink pads, and then you start building your collection, and then you start getting some of these specialty items like this Versamark ink pad and getting into heat embossing, it really is like building and expanding not only on your craft abilities and your craft products in your craft room, but also in all of the projects that you make, right? So the concept here is to take all of those elements that you get in a Paper Pumpkin kit and figure out ways to incorporate it with your regular products and have it live on and on every Halloween, right? For this kit, I actually collect Halloween products. And I have my Paper Pumpkin Halloween kits and all of my stamp sets from like the last 4 or 5 years. So, I keep them and I continue to use them. So with the Peekaboo treat bags, for example, when you do heat embossing like this, what you're doing is you're taking that exclusive stamp set that comes in the Paper Pumpkin kit and you're using it with other things. You're using it with other products. So these are fun ideas, and you can use these with any of the treat packaging that you have, that you may have invested in over time, right? Whether you have bags or boxes. Now what I'm doing is I am heat setting the embossing powder with my heat tool. And here's what I want to say about this. The Peekaboo treat bags have a little bit of plastic and adhesive on the inside. And of course, everything is all sealed up. But when you heat it up with the heat tool, it can have this ability to stick a little bit. Now the Stampin' Up heat tool actually has two settings. It has a low and a high setting. So you would want to use this on the low setting, and you really shouldn't have an issue. I'm actually not using the Stampin' Up heat tool in this demonstration. I'm using a different heat tool that only has one setting. It is not my favorite, but it's usually what I have on hand. So mine just goes automatically to high, and it sort of melted the inside of my bag a little bit. Totally still salvageable, but what I'm recommending to you is if you are using a heat tool that is not the Stampin' Up heat tool, maybe put a piece of chipboard or something inside your pocket before you start doing all of your heat setting. You could use a piece of cardstock, just something to separate that so that it doesn't stick together when you're applying heat. And I would recommend, just like you would always do with your heat embossing, you don't want to keep your heat tool on the particular piece that you're heat embossing for longer than it needs to be. The minute you see that powder change and set and get shiny, you immediately move on to the next stamp, right? So you're not spending too much time, and you're not letting the heat cook too long in one spot, and you should be able to use your Peekaboo treat bags just fine. I would recommend putting, pre-wrapped things or non-food items in this, but you could use this for whatever you like. And if you have any suggestions in the comments, or if you've tried this, let me know. You can leave a comment below. Now, of course, you can avoid all of that by just using your regular inks and not heat embossing. I wanted to add a little bit of a fun specialty element here to both of these Peekaboo treat bags. I love heat embossing with holiday projects, and that includes Halloween and Christmas, of course. So my brain just automatically goes there. But if you don't want to fuss with any of that, you don't want to put the chipboard inside or the piece of cardstock inside, and you don't want to worry about a heat tool, then just use the Orchid Oasis or use your favorite black ink, and go ahead and stamp on there. If you have a white pigment ink that you want to use on there, you could do that too. So totally up to you, you guys, whatever works best. So on the Facebook Live, I had actually only done one of these two treat bags. And what I did was I will typically pre-record myself creating the designs prior to my live. And that's what you're seeing now, because it occurred to me when I was doing my live that I had forgotten to add the washi tape. So I decided to just go back to my pre-recorded content, pop it into this video for anybody who's interested in watching. This is the white Peekaboo bag. You get both craft brown and white bags when you purchase a pack of them. They get, there's a pack of 10 that you get, 5 in each color. These are the bat stamps. There's a trio of bats, and I use the black embossing powder. Both the white and the black embossing powder come in what's called the Basics embossing pack in the annual catalog. That's 3 colors, black, white, and clear. And then you can also purchase a metallics version, which comes in gold, silver, and copper, and they're all gorgeous. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm heat setting my bats. I had a lot more stamps on this package than on the first, and as opposed to using 2 different colors and 2 different stamps, this is just the bats from top to bottom. So that's 2 different pattern options for you, just depending. This is definitely the simpler of the 2 in my opinion, because you're not switching out stamps and you're not switching out colors, and it's just as striking. And then I'm going to add the washi tape here in a minute. So if you're not familiar with the washi tape, this is available in the mini catalog of July to December. You can get a 4-pack, 4 rolls in different Halloween colors, orange, black, purple, and green. And you can add them just here and there on your projects and create this really vivid, shimmery pop of color on what would, you know, otherwise be an adorable treat bag, but this just really elevates it in my opinion. So what I did was I just went along the seam, top and bottom of the peekaboo section with the washi. And since it's already, you know, it already has its adhesive on it, all you have to do is cut. So there's really not much to it. For this one, we did orange, and then I did black on the other bag. So you can have so much fun with these, just depending on the option that you want to use and the color of washi that you want to add to your treat bags. But doesn't that just really add something there? So if you've gotten the washi tape, leave me a comment. I would love to know if you are making Halloween projects this year. I get a lot, I would say more so than any other holiday with Halloween. I tend to get a lot of people who say that they don't craft for Halloween, and then a lot of people who do. And it might also just depend on the season that you're in, and if you have kids or grandkids in school, or if you're helping you know, the family create a bunch of crafts for an event or a party or something like that. I was having a conversation where we were talking about how many trick-or-treaters we get. And if you live far out in the country, you might not get any trick-or-treaters at all, and that might not be necessary for you. Where I live, I get about 20 to 30 trick-or-treaters, and I put out a table at the end of our walk every year, and it is full of paper pumpkin treats for the kids in our neighborhood, and they usually go pretty fast. So that is one of my absolute favorite things to do. Okay, and so here I am bringing in the Stamparatus. I'm doing this because I'm going to stamp the same stamp in 2 different inks. I'm using Pumpkin Pie with the Trick or Treat sentiment from the Paper Pumpkin stamp set. I'm cleaning it off, and now I'm going to add Versamark right over top of the Pumpkin Pie ink. And this is so that I can add that clear heat embossing powder and give a little bit of shine to our sentiment for this particular project. Totally up to you whether or not you want to emboss the sentiment as well as the bag. On the first project, I did not actually emboss the sentiment, but on this one, I really wanted to add a little bit of clear to that pumpkin pie. The hexagons that you're seeing, the hexagon dies, are from what's called Beautiful Shapes dies. And I used 2 of the smaller size. I wanted to use the one that fitted that fit the Trick or Treat stamp a little bit closer, so that we could really showcase all of those bats on our bag, on our treat bag there. And I'm just using the pumpkin pie cardstock to sort of frame that in. And we're gonna pop this up on dimensional. So this was fun because I did get a chance to show you all 3 of the embossing powders from the basics pack. So you got to see the white, the black, and the clear just on these 2 treat bags. And I'm using some Stampin' Seal Plus to add this on. Stampin' Seal Plus is a little bit of a stronger adhesive for us. And because I have some specialty elements on there, the washi, the heat embossing, the bag is going to be popped open. I just wanted to make sure that I had a little bit of a stronger adhesive so that that little sentiment doesn't pop off when we're filling our bag. And of course, the tear and tape adhesive that comes inside your paper pumpkin kit will work just as well. Okay, so for those of you who watch my live and my replays, I am jumping back into what was the live content. So what I'm showing here is that the washi tape would frame the edges of this window, the spider web, perfectly. So if you like to create frames and you want to add a pop of shimmer, you could frame in that web perfectly with the size of the washi. It's almost an exact match. So here, what I am going to do is we're actually going to stamp the bottom inside panel of our box, and I used the star stamp on the sample that you're seeing that's finished, and we're going to use the bats on this version. Whenever I'm doing my samples versus when I'm doing my live, I like to show additional options if I can. I'm still using the Memento Tuxedo Black ink, but you know, there are just so many different fun things that you could do. You could stamp the web on the inside, you could stamp the ghost, whatever you would want. on your scene. If you want to do, if you do want to incorporate an additional stamp set like I did with some of the samples with Scary Cute, you could stamp the silhouette of the trick-or-treating children on the bottom inside panel. I bet you the kids would get a kick out of that who are going to receive these little treat boxes from you, right? So, and even for those of us who love to celebrate Halloween, and we're grown up, right? It's the kid inside of us, but we still love to surprise and delight with little gifts here and there for the holidays. And these treat boxes, let's remember, are on the fun Halloween happy side and not so much the scary side. This is for those who like to trick or treat and to decorate and to give fun little gifts at this particular time. Of course, you could do the scarier version if you like, but for these treat boxes, for this paper pumpkin kit, for these alternates, we're keeping it cute. Okay, so I want to talk about measurements really quickly for our panel. So the panel measures 3 inches in length. There are 2 wider panels that are 2.5 inches. And why that matters is because of the size of the die that we're going to use from the Scary Silhouette dies. So if you're going to create your own belly bands here, if you run out of the pieces in the kit, you're going to score a 2.5, 3.5, 6, and 7. On that very last panel, you're just going to taper in the edges if you need to create it. For our panel, our window panel, it's important that you put the window panel on the inner rectangle that is 2.5, not the outer. And the reason for that is the outer becomes the bottom wrap piece. So when you lay down your die, which you'll see me do in just a minute here, we're going to focus on the inner 2.5 inch panel between our score lines. You want to make sure that you put the die in between the score lines. This die is a 2-piece die. The die that has the branch detail on it is a die that cuts into paper, and that outer frame cuts out. So when you put those 2 pieces together, that will cut an entire panel out. For our strip here that's going to go on our treat box, for our sliding panel for our treat box, we just want to cut in the design. So we're only going to use the detail piece here. And we're focusing it on that inner piece. I did the white side first to show you where the score lines were because it's kind of hard to see on the plaid. And then I just flipped it over and made sure that it was lined up properly, basically. So that's the first step in this, is that you're cutting the detail panel into your treat box slider. Now we're going to take a piece of the basic black cardstock. You could use whatever color you want. I think Orchid Oasis would be fantastic for this as well. Or even your gray granite, right? Just depending on the colors that you want. Now we're going to take both dies, the outer piece and the detail piece, and we're going to cut a full piece out together. This is going to give us the detail and the frame on this part. So that's the difference between what you're cutting into the paper pumpkin piece and what you're cutting out of this additional piece of cardstock. Okay, so now we have that same decorative element, but we also have that really cool frame. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue that panel onto the paper pumpkin part. So you can decide whether or not you want to see a little bit of a shadow layer here, or if you want to line it up exactly. I decided to line it up exactly. I'm just using my multi-purpose glue. You could use the little glue dots that come inside your kit too if you want. We call them adhesive dots. I'm putting just a tiny couple of little dabs here onto the branches, not many. I don't want it to get too messy, and we're just going to line this up. And then we're going to actually add a window sheet panel to this as well. Now you could leave this without the window sheet panel. I am in the 4 corners here on the inside, adding some tear and tape from the kit. I'm going to cut a window sheet panel. Oh, I'm also adding a couple of those adhesive dots from the kit to the trees so that our window panel has something to stick to with the trees. Just 2 of them, not too many. And now I'm going to cut this window panel to 2.5 by 3 inches. As a matter of fact, I'm cutting it just a hair under 2.5 and just a hair under 3. I can't say that it's a full measurement down because I want it to fit within that panel and still be able to bend at the score lines. So I'm just removing the backing from that tear and tape that we laid down, and we're setting our panel in place. If you want the kids to be able to reach right through, you don't need to add the window panel. The window sheet is an additional optional step, but it makes it look really finished, really professional. It gives a really nice presentation if you do have the window sheets and you would like to add those and use those, right? And these window sheets are fantastic quality. So these aren't flimsy. They're pretty solid, and will, protect whatever little treats you have inside. Now from the kit, we took the Happy Halloween stamp and our black ink. I'm using the Fresh Freesia rectangle sentiment panel from the kit, and we're adding that with our dimensionals right on. So you would use your mini dimensionals that come in the kit for that, but I had some leftovers from my full-size sheet, and I was just adding those. And now here you can see all of our finished projects. So we have alternates that are using the stamps, and then we have alternates that are using all of the consumable pieces, meaning all of the paper pieces, all of the embellishment pieces that you can use up from your kit. I really hope that you enjoyed today's projects. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like, comment, share, all of these things. Let me know that you love seeing these videos and that you would like to see more of this. It also lets YouTube know that. So I appreciate you spending your time with me. Let me know if you plan on making any projects for Halloween this year. If you are interested in subscribing to the October Paper Pumpkin Kit, click the link in the description below to learn more. It's the Ho 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 Kit, and I will see you in the next video.